start the fight and start the momentum rolling. The United States have been able to pull back fights with their one-on-one duels. You need that extra third DPS perhaps to bring in that extra damage so that your 1v1s are going your way rather than the United States way. I think that could be a good path to victory for them. The United States will kick it off here on defense. So do you see anything out of the ordinary for the United States team?
No, nothing out of the ordinary at all. The one thing that's worth noting is that they are not opening up here with a triple tank setup that they have been more prone to doing. Instead, sticking with the more tried and true, although one interesting note is that a lot of times when teams run a dive comp like this, they run it with a Zenyatta. Instead, they're going to be running with the Ana.
Sinatra feeling good, just dancing. Why not? I mean, he's got a lot to be dancing about. Brazil, for the moment, seems like they are really dead set on running this Reaper. I think they know that the problem has been dealing with the United States tanks, but Lico's really not been able to get in position to deal with them.
And Brazil, they are going to be coming out here with the D.Va once more, so any idea that they'd be moving in with the triple DPS comp, not so much going to be the case, but they will be coming up the right side here early on. Lico in the front line, looking to make his tanks win this tank-on-tank battle. The U.S. right now simply flexing back, but a lot of pressure on the cooldown will force him out.
He was on Matt all the way. They also discorded Matt too to try to get it done, but meanwhile, Sinatra terrorizing the backline yet again, takes out Clara. However, now even trades as Jake goes down in turn.
And Brazil, though, able to find their way through. The first 3 kills going their way, and the United States defense has been caught off guard. Lico now turning into one of the best janitors in the game. We know Reaper could do this as fights break down, cleaning up the remainder of the team, or at the very least pushing them out. So Brazil going to get the first 2 ticks here. The United States, though, still might try coming back in.
They are kind of shuffling around the point as though they want to come back in and contest, but way too late now, and they might get caught out in this transition as Dudu trying to find some supports back there. Does have Raucus in his sights, a pulse bomb ready, doesn't want to use it necessarily. Not able to find the kill with that ultimate.
But finds it with the pulse pistol, so still an opportunity here for Brazil. They are not giving the U.S. any quarter right now, immediately moving right back in, but the United States able to strike right back, punishing Brazil for going too deeply, and they will get the stabilization that they were looking for.
But I liked the theory behind Brazil right there. They saw the United States was not set up on defense because they were milling about, thinking about taking that point. So they tried to catch him in transition, didn't work out, but the idea is good. Lico, please nail a Death Blossom. He's gonna have it shortly. I haven't seen a good Death Blossom in quite a bit. They toyed with the idea of running a Rhine, but got off of that quickly as well.
Well, the thing about Death Blossom is that it's very difficult to get a good Death Blossom when you have a D.Va like Matt that's constantly suppressing it. But here comes Brazil. They're moving in. Jake countering with the Dragon Blade, slices through Neil, finds Alamo, and goes for more. And though Brazil gets 2 kills of their own, it's just not going to be enough. What a deflection.
He didn't even need to. It's just style points. That is Jake just having a little bit of fun right there. Could have ended it with shurikens. Dudu does exact a little bit of revenge, but a small price to pay as the United States stabilizes. Yet again, what's been so impressive about the United States is that they win these fights with single ults a lot of the time. A single blade, a tactical visor, a single support ult. They're almost always ahead economically when it comes to the ultimate advantage.
And the good thing for the United States going to the next fight is that they will have the Primal Rage and Self-Destruct. 2 things that are very good at making space on final points for Assault, where you can deny the other team a decisive take. However, Raucus goes down early. Brazil, a 6v5 opportunity. They should be dropping the beat here in just a moment to make this even more secure. The United States, they have to now use the Primal Rage to buy themselves some space.
Well, the Self-Destruct going to come up and get them off of the point as Lico does fall to that. That is so much punching power and shuriken power out of the fight. This one is essentially over. Brazil, time and again, have started off with different comps and switched to different things, and essentially you're giving up an entire fight when you do that. Lico has to wait. He's not going to be near a blade because he was on the Reaper. Now they want to run a Reaper again, and it's going to be Muraz, who was on the D.Va. They've switched a lot, and it always puts them a little bit behind.
Anytime you go for those swaps, you lose ultimate progress. Meanwhile, you look at the United States. They might have had their best tank ultimates, but now they have a sound barrier. So they still give themselves tools to win in every fight. They're going in for Adam immediately. That's going to make it a little bit hard for the early sound barrier, but Raucus able to get away somehow. Still, Matt is demet. It's a 6v5 for Brazil, but the United States, they drop the beat and roll right back in.
Dudu's done a great job of getting to this back line. He has been harassing the supports, getting them out of the fight, and then taking down the tanks. Fact, Fiction, and Adam both go down. One of the best pushes for Brazil so far. Although Muraz out of the fight, they need to get this clean. They pop a Transcend on the defense.
The defense right now is a bit in trouble. Brazil applying the pressure, and Lico looking for more. The blade is out, finds Adam, dives right in. 2 extra kills here for Brazil. They are well on their way to their first tick of progress right now, and the United States is struggling.
Jake tries to come out on the Bastion, but gets pulse bombed on his way out the door. Still, it's been excellent stall for the United States, denying all the progress. None of this progress is permanent just yet. It can revert, but there's been nothing in the kill feed for the United States team. Now, they have 33%.
Fact Fiction uses the Primal Rage, has immediately taken down the Focus Fire from Brazil. Great, and they have more tools yet to come. The Sound Bear's out, and there's the Death Blossom to the back. Finds Adam, and the pressure continues to pile.
It's been all Brazil. They will at least have 66% progress if they get pushed back, but I don't think they will, ZP. They do drop the beat, and they continue the cleanup. United States has not gotten anybody on this point.
The United States have done a good job delaying, but they haven't done a good job actually pulling it back. Brazil, they're almost there. They just need a little bit more, and that will be a decisive take for Brazil. Could a turnaround be in progress?
This is why it can be so frustrating with Brazil, though. Why don't you just run Liko on the Genji the whole time? I mean, they obviously have the best fights when Liko's on the Genji. His dashes are good at coming through. He works well with Dudo to get to the back line. The switches have been somewhat baffling to me, and it puts them behind.
It does put them behind. But one thing I want to ask you about here is, did you like the Ana coming out from Raucus there? Because it felt like Brazil was getting a lot of mileage off of using the Discord Orb very well and taking down the United States tanks, which is historically a US strength. They didn't have a Discord Orb of their own there to sort of keep that even.
Well, you can be of two minds of it, because the Ana should keep those tanks alive a little bit better than a Zen would. So if you're playing defensively and you want to keep your tanks alive, that's fine. But also, Brazil did go into a more dive composition, which Ana can be a target against. So I generally just default that Raucus is probably smarter than me, so he's probably right there. But I see the point you're making. I think they put so much value on keeping their own tanks alive that Ana is a good pick there. Despite being discorded, if you can just pump those darts into the back of your tanks, it's hard to take them down regardless. But didn't work out for them there. 308 in the time bank for Brazil as they did finish Lunar Colony.
Now, as we look to the pressure that is on the United States here, is that not only do they have to capture point A and point B, but they need to do so in a good enough time. If they capture point B, but they only have a minute left, that's not going to be very good for their chances of taking this thing in the end. So the United States now must be as swift as Brazil was a moment ago.
United States probably wishes they could run two Mercies, like the good old days, because Adam, even though he's on the Lucio, probably one of the best Mercies on the entire planet. There was a whole meta where Adam, I don't think, died for 3 months.
He was very good at shaking pressure and staying in the air, and of course, C9 was his team back then, and still is, but he was able to shake that pressure with the help of what was once a very good tank frontline. But now the United States moving forward with the Sphera Mercy combo.
Rocket's going to try to stay alive. Damage boosted rockets in over the top. You call your rocket damage, and then you let your tracer on the ground go clean it up with those damage boosted rockets. Not always enough to one-shot, but enough to get people very low and out of position. Jake's doing a great job using the geography to keep himself out of harm's way.
This is a lot of damage coming in here from Jake. That's going to be pushing Brazil back and let the United States take very good positioning without getting poked down in turn. Adam, under pressure, able to shake the pressure. Healed up by Raucus. Big mid-air rocket coming in, but the fall through, not quite there. Still, though, the U.S. in a very good spot right now if they can convert.
Oh, solid healing to keep Liko alive. You need to hit double rockets in a row on a lot of things to be able to get those confirmed kills. A lot of poke damage. It has been relatively slow going. That's one of the things with a pharmacy combo. It can be slower than others, but they're taking positioning here.
They're taking positioning, but Brazil is weathering the storm very well, but not anymore. Hail right to the face. Goodbye, Liko. Call your insurance on that one, and here comes the barrage. It's still raining. It's all Jake right now, and he has opened up this point for the United States.
One of the better barrages you will ever see. That is 3 kills. He comes out of the barrage stance, able to take down Neil as well, and Jake Sphera has absolutely come alive. Beautiful as we check out the replay here. And also what's unnoted there is that Matt was keeping him in the matrix. That's why he's able to live through that barrage.
Well, speaking of pressure right now, the United States not wasting any time, immediately onto the second point, Brazil, but Fact Fiction going to fall down early. Raucus, though, holding on to the resurrection. He will likely bring him back up unless he dies himself. Muriz ends this for Brazil and pushes the United States out.
A nice stabilizing fight there. Oftentimes we say that your first push on assault last, assault second, if you will, is your best push. You will generally have ultimate advantages. You generally have momentum while the defense tries to set up. It's really important that Brazil was able to hold there.
One thing that's very interesting is that Raucus actually is swapping off the Mercy. He had a resurrection in store, but feels like the Zenyatta is so important that he doesn't want to stay at the Mercy, even in this situation. As the U.S. not wasting any time. Discord Orb on the Winston, Sinatra in hot pursuit. They're looking to put this fight in their favor already.
Well, also a difficult point for Afera, so you don't necessarily need the Mercy. Fact Fiction does come in, takes down Liko right there. That's a great start to this fight for the United States.
United States working the corners right now. Still everyone alive, looking to take this slow and steady, and they do. Sinatra, 2 big kills, aided by Raucus over the top. A very safe spot here for Zenyatta. Can mark people at will, protected by Jake as the United States halfway to their goal.
They continue to clean up. They've got 66%. That progress will not revert even if they get pushed back here. As Sinatra remains unchecked on the ground. Is he wearing the cloak of invisibility? No one's even fired at him in the last minute.
The thing is, they're not looking at Sinatra because of what Jake is doing on the top, and Brazil dying by the dozens right now, not able to stay on the point, and the United States, they even it right back up.
Even it up maybe, but 2 more minutes on the clock for the United States there. Much faster time.
It's much better for the U.S., and what that means is that we will be seeing the teams swap sides once more. Brazil, with less time remaining on the clock, will be the ones taking the attack, and the pressure has completely flipped. The pressure was on the United States after the first Brazil attack, and now the United States, the pressure is off a little bit.
We prophesized coming in here that we would see Farah and Mercy most out of the United States. It is simply the North American style. These teams are used to playing it. They're used to playing against it. And it's also good against some of these international teams that maybe not be used to playing against it. It is a completely different style. You have to fight in the skies. It takes a lot of focus to be able to take down a combo effectively.
It does take a lot of focus, but what I thought was interesting is that Brazil did handle the Farah Mercy well for quite a long time. They were holding back, not giving Jake great opportunities, but all it takes is one good sequence of rockets to get a key kill and then give you the space you need to dive in safely and really pile on right after. So for the US, they were patient in turn, they found their opportunity, and they went right through.
The only real answer Brazil had for the pharmacy, though, was Liko on the Genji. You can have anti-air Genjis, but he went to the well one too many times, and that was the kill that really opened things up for the United States. USA, of course, will be on defense this side as we do switch sides here. Jake on the 76 on defense, and again, they're going to try to run Liko on the Reaper. It did work on the first point, but it's going to put them behind if they don't run it again on the second.
Right now, they're diving right in, looking for early targets. They almost get one, but
anti-healed.
The US flanking from the side, picking off both supports. That will spell an end to this push.
It's another great reason to run an Ana in this composition. The anti-heal came in. Lucio generally should be able to reboost himself back up to full health, but the anti-heal and working well with Fact Fiction. Fact Fiction and Rock is, of course, teammates used to working with each other. Long-time teammates.
Very much so. So the United States, a much better defense here early on, and I like how they took the initiative here. And wow, they... All right,
this is a great stall. That is a great stall.
Word to the wise, when you go out in space, please bring your spacesuit so that doesn't happen. Diva, you should have known better.
In space, no one can hear you scream, Diva.
Oh man, I don't think we've ever seen that before, at least
no.
Any games that we've cast.
That is an interesting spot right there. Brazil will reset, trying to get back in on this offense, and yet again, they've switched off of the Reaper and put Liko on the Genji. Makes you wonder, why don't you just run Genji?
Jake under pressure, but Matt puts him in the Matrix. He gets healed up immediately. He's able to shake the pressure, and oh my goodness, Alamo tried to go in. He's taken down. Both supports down once more for Brazil, and their dive on the Jake does not work as Jake gets his revenge.
They go on the backsword. There goes Diva again off of the edge. Jake is going to get a lot of the credit, and reminds me of his former team he used to be on too. But Jake lives in the Matrix. No one can shoot bullets at him. He can dodge bullets, but he doesn't need to because Diva's eating him up.
Well, Diva might not be eating him up any longer. I mean, we're just adding more and more Divas to the pile out there, so I don't quite know.
No, but it's cool Matt who's always behind Jake. That's the reason that he's able to play so aggressively, is because Matt's just always got him covered.
All right, Brazil, 1 minute left, looking for their opportunity, and they open up the primal range. Liko, though, gets pressured out.
Boostio!
Back out here, and ends up Boostio. Adam holding on, dropping the beat with his damage. Has not actually used the sound barrier just yet, but can use it in a moment. And there it is, the beat is dropped. The U.S. trying to hold strong.
Well, despite the Boostio, Matt does get D-Mac. Jake trying to get back in here too. He's been a terror on the 76. They're getting pushed off this point. The positioning really good for Brazil as they push them back. They will transcend as they try to finish these fights. That's a great peel onto the Dragon Blade, but Liko eventually will take down Adam.
That was still very good for Adam. He delayed Liko for a long time, made him use the blade only on him, and the U.S. can still get back onto this point. They still have enough people alive to contest. They will lose the first 2 ticks, but they have
both
tools
tanks
coming up here. Yeah, both tanks can dive in, and Jake will have the attack visor. So the United States, they get another opportunity to flip this back. They have very little room for error now, and losing Raucus, we'll see how it works, but Jake
not quite
making room.
It's very close as Jake hits a huge helix onto Duda. That is a lot of damage now out of the fight for Brazil. The tanks don't need to get kills. They just needed to buy time. Time still being bought as there is a Lucio on the point. Matt comes back, takes out his counterpart, and the United States has the body count on the point to be able to take this.
Matt right now, bunny blastering away onto point, gets back into the mech, and still delaying right now for the United States. One against many right now is going to get D-back. This might be the head. Matt against the world, but Brazil will take him out and get control of this point.
Very close, but even just buying the time there, very good for the United States as we are just about 20 seconds left for Brazil. They will have one push at this last point to get as much progress as possible.
15 seconds remaining, not any ultimates to use with it, but if they can get a clean mechanical kill, they can have a hope and a prayer here as the United States have reset the defense. Brazil moving in for the final 5 seconds.
They are on triple DPS. Mirrors is on that Reaper right now as they try to come in. Liko with a good entry kill. Will D-Mac back. That is 3 quick kills, actually 2, sorry.
We're in overtime, but Brazil, they have hope right now. They are throwing the United States back. Jake gets the nano boost, does force Brazil to give him a little bit of space, but here comes Liko. The blade is out, looking for victims, and no, he's not gonna find anything. Where is the other team, he's wondering. But Brazil, they've still got 2 ticks.
Where's Jake going? He's just on a wild tour right now. Fact Fiction able to take down 1. You need to see blue in the kill feed for the United States if they want to take this point back. They get a couple kills. Brazil not with the cleanest of fights as Matt re-enters the fray.
Brazil really could have used that Dragon Blade in a different position as the United States comes out of spawn. Now they take control of the fight, and it's looking like Brazil's progress will end at 73% on second.
Jake running the distraction 76, just running away, just getting his sprint on. Was a good you know what they did against the Blade? It was so great. I mean, Adam with the peel early on. So if you're gonna get bladed on, just give up 1 life or do a distraction. Make them waste the blade. The thing that will absolutely gut your team is getting double killed off a blade or 3 kills off a blade. It's one of those great ultimates that can really snowball a fight. And the United States was able to tourniquet the bleeding that's inflicted by the Dragon Blade.
They were, and they definitely played around it in an intelligent way. Now, though, as we look to this next round, the United States will have about 5 minutes to get in through most of second. This is actually somewhat defensible here from Brazil, where, yes, the United States went through with a quicker time than that the first time around, but you cannot guarantee that for your second attack. Brazil does have a pretty good shot of taking this map if the United States cannot find another swift attack.
They need to go all in on first point, I think, and at least stall it out for a decent amount of time. 5 minutes seems like an eternity here on Lunar Colony. And again, the United States win condition is just to get about 74% on last. Do not even have to full cap it here. So Brazil's going to have to find something. They should know what they're going against, and it does seem like they do. With Mures on the 76, I think they're expecting the Pharah play again.
So they will be throwing more pressure on the Jake, but one thing you have to remember is that Jake is going to have Raucus in his pocket. Furious is going to need a bit of support on himself if he's trying to win that battle against Jake, because if Jake's getting healed, Jake can still take out 76 despite the hit scan advantage in that setup.
Calero has to help him. Generally, you have a Zenyatta to be able to help on this combo, but you need 2 pieces to take out 2 pieces. It can't just be the 76 alone trying to deal with the Pharah.
United States right now coming in from multiple angles. Jake on the left side, Matt on the right. Jake just looking for rockets to open this up, laying them into the back line, had supports in his sights, but is not diving here just yet. And this is very reminiscent of the last US attack where they were patient and just probing for weakness.
They're doing a great job of staying back and out of sight lines. Liko is able to come in and get himself out again. Last time it was when he went to the well. The second time that Jake was ready for him, he was able to punish and open up this fight. Now back in the corner, Calero falls to a rocket.
Jake was on the hunt for supports, and he got one. Now the United States with a 5-on-5 here, but they're going to bring Fact Fiction right back up. They are slowly taking this point away from Brazil, and Brazil just bleeding player after player. This should be the United States' point.
Jake able to hit a huge rocket onto Liko, and you're right, this absolutely should be as Adam takes down his counterpart. It's very similar to a Widow, where you don't have to get the eliminations, but you're changing positioning of a map. They have to hide in the corner against the rockets, and that allows the rest of the team to swoop in and clean up.
4 minutes and 5 seconds remain for the United States to get just above 73.5%. If they're able to do that, they will take this map and put an end to Brazil's hopes of going to BlizzCon proper. Brazil, though, still fighting for their lives, still fighting for a chance. We'll see if they can hold off the United States.
And that yellow triangle of victory on the second point marker there, as opposed to the yellow box of victory. They're just setting up right now. Fact Fiction looking for someone. They know that there's a sound barrier in the field now. Liko comes in, gets Jake, but the sound barrier going to mitigate some of it. Rock is down. This fight all but over thanks to Liko's Dragon Blade.
The beat can only do so much, but one thing it did not do there was stop Liko from getting what he wanted, decimating the United States backline and giving Brazil some badly needed stability.
The United States showing their versatility here as they do switch some combinations up. Sinatra is on the Genji. I think it's one of the first times we've seen him on there trying to match Liko's Genji to Genji. But now the United States actually in a tough position. They're going to be pushing into EMPs for a while.
The EMP here can be very good for Brazil, where even if that's the only ult you have, it can be great. They EMP the backline, and now they dive in. They get Raucus immediately. But the United States, it's not a terrible disengage here early on. They will have D.Va get D-Mech, but they're still fighting it back, and we know just how deadly Matt can be even without the mech. He's going in.
Of course Matt's going in. Matt able to bunny blaster down Dudu and surprising amount of damage, might be headshot, and that opens things up. Sinatra gets the blade out, does not find everything he's looking for, but softens up some targets for Fact Fiction to finish.
Matt was not able to get back into the mech, but he did do his damage. The United States now a dominant positioning on the point. They've picked up one tick already, looking for more. Jake, plenty of room to work. The United States just need a little bit more. They almost have it. Will it be enough?
Desperation EMP comes out. Desperation Blade will not going to be enough as Fact Fiction able to Tesla down. Nico, the United States trying to get progress, throwing bodies at the point, not there in time. United States up 3-0.
The United States, they came in a little bit shaky here on Horizon, but they were able to finish strong. And with this win, Brazil now has to relegate themselves to playing the role of spoiler, as the best they will be able to do is 5-map wins.
I just admire people with the confidence to wear eagle heads. I couldn't pull it off. It's a look that I could not pull off. That man's a patriot.
That man is amazing.
Or woman, I don't know.
Yeah, true.
It's hard to tell with the mascot.
Well, take a look here at Sinatra, of course, a consistent threat here for the U.S. team. Just almost being invisible at points because of all the other threats the U.S. was throwing at Brazil. Consistent damage coming out here from this Tracer. Very important to the U.S. taking that point.
Absolutely there. And the thing I still question is the switches that we're seeing come through there, and I think their best play has been with just Liko on the Genji. And if you want to run a Reaper, that's fine, but put Miraz on the Reaper. I think you have your heroes and the hero plays that we've seen, Dudu and Liko, Genji Tracer, you try to clutch on that, you rely on that one the most.
So now we take a look at the tail of the tape. The United States up 3-0 over Brazil. If you're Brazil and you want to make a statement, where do you bring the United States to next?
Well, their favorite escort is Route 66. We haven't seen a whole lot of Dorado. I do believe we'll probably be going Route 66. They've gotten most of the map picks. It simply hasn't worked out for them. Lunar was probably the closest of the maps. I would imagine we're going to go get our kicks on the desert highway out here.
Well, what could be better for Brazil than beating the U.S. team, not only in America, but on an American stage, Route 66. So if they are going to make a statement, perhaps this is where it will be.
And that twangy guitar means that we are headed to Route 66 in that diner at a cup of coffee that tastes like, I believe Mr. McCree says, boiled dirt.
You know, personally, I've grown accustomed to that taste. It's what I actually like in my coffee, Hex. I'm not much of a coffee connoisseur, but yeah, I don't think McCree actually has it right there.
Probably not. I think it would surprise no one that I have a rather bitter palate, so I like my coffee to be pretty awful as well. There's Big Earl's, the gas station 24/7 service. So what do you think Brazil needs to do here? Do they need composition changes? Do they need style changes? Is it an aggression thing? I mean, what's going wrong?
Brazil looked best with two elements on Horizon. One is when they did win the tank battle, and they won the tank battle when they had very good focus on the mat early on, got him out of the fight immediately. The second thing they did really well on was plays with Liko on Genji. Anything they can do to support Liko more, just have their supports throw more love his way, really give him the maximum opportunity to get the most out of his Dragon Blades. That's a way that they can find a way in.
There are several teams in this tournament and in even previous World Cups that they understand we've got one player and we're just going to go all in on him, especially Genji players or Tracer players. You think of players in this tournament, in these groups actually, like Logix, that's going to be our go-in guy. And you think in past tournaments, Shadowburn, we're going to put all our chips in on Shadowburn's Genji. I think it's absolutely a viable strategy. Brazil will be on the offense first, and we've actually got a little bit of McCree.
We have McCree, but we also have Liko here on the Diva, which means we won't be seeing his Genji. And oh my goodness, early pressure already coming in from the United States. No part of ground given up for free here as they find Alamo immediately.
Well, I mentioned earlier that Mercy without a Pharah is essentially ground beef, very easy to take down without those vertical escapes. I think they're just trying to run this damage-boosted McCree, maybe getting a little bit fun with it.
Well, they're looking for something right now, but they're definitely not finding anything. As the United States, it is a wall of damage coming out that's really stopping the Brazil from getting to the payload right now. They can't really get through this wrecked train, and this is really good pressure coming out from the United States, but the game plan from Brazil seems a little bit disheveled.
Well, this is the style of the Sombra defense as well, and maybe the McCree is supposed to be an answer to that Sombra. That's a nice jump from Neil to take down Jake. They know that the United States likes to run Sombra defense on this map. They try to check the corner for the packs, and Sombra's bad against McCree because he can stun her and she can't get out with the translocators.
US right now is going to flick right back around. There's the EMP, and they go right in. Jake or no Jake, they take the opportunity, and it's a big one. It's a clean sweep, and Brazil thrown right off that payload.
Or Winston down into the canyon. Well, they know that the United States is running this strategy. It's just a matter of how do they deal with it. Raucus now understood that there was a McCree on the field, so he's going to be extra careful. You don't want to get flashbanged and stunned out as Sombra. It's one of the only things that can really control a Sombra. Brazil has changed their composition, though. Again, they go Liko back onto the Genji.
He goes back onto the Genji. Raucus right now getting close to another EMP, throwing the pressure into the back. But here's the big thing. Jake has the blade, looking to the back line. He was in hot pursuit, decides maybe not this time. Has to back out as Brazil starting to get a little bit more progress. But the US, now they have the EMP, they are primed and ready to go right in.
Raucus going to try to find something, but the Transcend comes out early. Raucus is able to take down due to the blade out for Jake, unable to find the targets that he's looking for. Will find a pack, and he gets gifted a Zenyatta onto his lap before that Zen's knocked away. All the USA in this fight.
And the US, they don't have to burn the EMP there. That is still going to be up here for this next fight. The Dragon Blade was enough, and Brazil finding themselves down to their final minute 45 right now. They have to find a way through this EMP and pierce on through.
Hoping to clutch onto their own Pharah and Mercy combination. Mira switches to the Pharah, Calero onto the Mercy. It is the second major composition switch from Brazil so far in this map, as they've only got it around first bend thus far.
United States right now holding, waiting. Here comes the self-destruct over the top. Will there be fireworks? Not quite yet. It zones him out, and Matt isn't able to get back into his mech, so he's punished as Brazil now finding a way in.
That's a really nice play from Alamo, actually, to make sure that Matt can't even get back in there. It's a beautiful kill to get a pilot Diva, and they're piling on right now as Miras and Claro have found the damage. Dudu will stick a pulse bomb onto Fact Fiction. However, the card doesn't have the progress yet. USA might be able to fight again, but a great fight from Brazil.
So after the self-destruct, which is more akin to a self-sabotage, the United States has found their advantage, wilting away here so far. They will have another opportunity to get back here on to the point. Here it is. Over the top right now, looking for targets. Brazil trying to dominate the areas that the United States is trying to come back in on, but it's Liko at the blade. Takes down Raucus and is looking for more.
It's a great counter pick to be running this pharmacy right now because the United States doesn't really have much to deal with it. They have the 76, but the 76 needs help from his supports. He gets domed right there. However, Sinatra trying to single-handedly bring this back on the ground.
Sinatra right now, he's not under pressure really at all, able to dart in and around, picking apart Brazil when they're not looking, and that is big. The United States has fought this back. We're down to our final 18 seconds. Brazil, can they extend time on this map? Or will the United States hold them right here?
They need to regroup, and Calero will likely get to his resurrection in this fight. He has to be the prime target for the United States to make sure they don't get a second chance coming in due to also nearing his pulse bomb.
Brazil right now moving right in. They have the sound barrier at the ready. They're going to need to use it soon. They're looking for early pickoff kills. We are in overtime. The United States, if they win this fight, it ends here. The EMP comes out, and already Calero is down. Both supports are down for Brazil. They are getting picked off left, right, and center, and the United States on the verge of a first point hold, and it's looking like that it will in fact be the case.
They couldn't lose the Mercy. They lost her early. Mercy down, Lucio down. The United States with a dominant defense on Route 66. Brazil tried to find answer after answer, a glimmer of hope for them, but the United States responded in turn.
Now for Brazil, if they wanted to play spoiler and bloody the United States a little bit, they would have to have an even better defense here on Route 66 and hold off the United States even further back. It's not something we see all that frequently, but it can be a possibility.
It forces them to run a Sombra defense, though. The Sombra defense is one of the only compositions that is able to play as aggressive and upfront as you need to stop them before they get around the bend of Big Earls to that yellow box of victory. And I think they're comfortable running the Sombra. They're used to playing it. They've shown it time and again. But the United States, as it's their defense that they run, are also comfortable playing against it. So a Herculean task ahead of Brazil to be able to stop the United States just before first point checkpoint.
At this point, Brazil certainly playing for a bit of pride, but the United States, they want to go in as strong as possible for day 3 tomorrow. So we'll just see if they can get to this yellow box of victory here in just a moment.
So I was distracted by the whip sound.
Every time I hear the whip, I'm just like, I'm trying to keep a straight face. Who knows what that whip is used for, Hex?
Round them up, round them in, rawhide. Yellow box of victory on the ground there. The United States, if they reach that yellow box, the rhombus of victory, they will go 8-0 so far in the World Cup qualifiers in Los Angeles, California, United States of America. Brazil, of course, has to run the Sombra defense. They are setting up right there. Calero there to hack the pack. United States gonna look like they want to run a Reaper of their own.
Jake getting a little bit of Reaper time in there, but to your point, Calero is going to be the centerpiece here for Brazil. If they're able to hold the United States back, they're going to need it off of very good pack control and very good EMPs. A single misplayed team fight here for Brazil could spell the end and a clean sweep by the United States.
They're going to bully right through here. I think they're going to try to speed boost Jake through the corner there. He's going to have the defense matrix on him. They know exactly what this strategy is. They are camping that pack. They are not letting anyone come back there. If Sombra translocates to that pack, she is going to be met by a unwelcoming greeting party.
United States right now looking for their way in. Calero getting pressured out, and he's only at 40% right now. He has not been able to build that much ult percentage. His team has not been using the health packs as much either, as now the United States taking advantage right now, looking for a key early kill. Brazil getting poked down on all angles. The United States is in a dominant position, and they're going to deback that diva.
The United States took control of the first big pack, and now we're camping the second big pack right now as Sinatra does find his way to a couple of kills. Jake goes down as he's getting very aggressive, but it is the only kill. The United States so close to wrapping this up.
The United States right now marching to victory. They only need a little bit more. Brazil, will they be able to contest the time? Calero trying to buy some time, sacrificing his body for the cause. But will it be enough? Housey Neal diving right in. It is already desperation time here for Brazil.
Both tanks out, trying to just get some stall. They're not necessarily looking for kills, but Sinatra's got the blade out. He's able to take one down. Him and Jake have been the Bash brothers throughout this tournament. They continue to do so, lighting up the kill feed. United States sweeps Brazil.
United States put on a show on day 1. Day 2 was no different. Against the highly vaunted Brazil team, they are able to take not 1, not 2, but all 4 maps here in this series, and they look to be dominant heading into day 3.
You can go on your forums with your doubts, but as I said yesterday, this team doesn't care. They know what they're capable of. They're showing the world what they're capable of. The United States has looked great so far in their home turf.
All right, guys, and now to break down the game and perhaps pander to the crowd, we're going to be